I guess the question really comes down to, do I want to be cool, calm, and collected this week, or do I want to be a scatterbrained mess? Hello team, today we are doing a full weekly reset with my blue bullet journal, Blue Joe. I think it's now graduated from being New Joe to being Blue Joe, because it's been with us long enough. As part of the setup of Blue Joe though, in the front cover here, we put in a little weekly reset checklist. So this is what we're going to be working through today. And I'm hoping to show you as full of a process as I possibly can. Should be doable. As stated, the weekly reset helps me feel less scatterbrained and more cool, calm, and collected. Our secret word for today is black, but let's get into it. Before we get started though, this weekly reset means business, so I need to tie up my hair and find my headband to really get into it. So starting at the start, the first step on our checklist is to get myself a nice drink. And I think for my drink today, I want to try my hand at making an iced matcha latte. I've always done them hot, but it's like first thing in the morning today, and I don't really feel like doing a hot drink right now. So iced it is. We'll see how that goes. I'm not a fancy latte maker. We've just got sachets. They work. Instant. So cold serving, pour contents into a cup, dissolve in hot water, add ice and serve. Okay, we can do that. The issue is though, because it's cold, I want to put it in a glass, but you can't put hot water in a glass. Maybe I'll dissolve the powder in this mug and then like tip it into the glass. Yeah. Kettle it on, doing the boil thing. Let's go get some ice. Is this sufficient? I don't know. Now I know if I pour the boiling hot liquid into the ice glass, that's gonna be a bad time. So we're gonna add some milk. And just to be a little bit safer, we're gonna add some milk here too. How am I gonna pour this without making a giant fucking mess? This was the worst cup to pick. We're gonna take this to the sink. Okay. Yeah, that didn't go so bad. There you go, that didn't do too bad. There were probably easier ways to make this drink, but it's fine. While the next task on the task list is to put on the playlist, for copyright reasons, I won't be doing that. But after this, we need to tidy up my desk, which is in dire need of some TLC. Wah wah. We're just going to ignore the fact that I have a bunch of stuff sitting here on the floor as well, but that's not my problem. The desk is. The reason putting on the playlist is on the list is to make the tidying up process a little bit more enjoyable, so maybe we'll time-lapse this. Because I do a lot of my journaling at my desk, it very quickly becomes quite messy. Especially with transitioning to my new desk setup, with my new desks that don't have as much storage, I've kind of just found that things have been accumulating on the desktop, so tidying it up before I start my reset properly is a very necessary step. I don't know about you guys, but I find that when there's just stuff all over my desk, it makes it really hard to focus. That whole idea of like messy space, messy mind, I don't know. In general though, tidying up my desk makes me feel much more prepared to actually do the rest of my reset tasks. So it still kind of looks like a bit of a mess, but it's actually way tidier than it was before. Like, all of this space used to have stuff all over it. That's my wallet, so just ignore my wallet, but look at that clear space, beautiful. That plastic there is actually for a video I need to film today, so he can stay out, but I'm actually pretty pleased with it. Again, just ignoring the fact that the light's just like sitting in the middle of the desk. Everything we've done so far are what I consider to be pre-reset tasks. So things that get me set up to actually do the proper reset process. Making myself comfortable, making the space feel like it's actually ready for resetting. The first step in the actual resetting process though is to do an initial brain dump. Normally I'd put my brain dump into my brainstorming book, which is a separate journal to this one, but I figured that because I'm using the B5 and it's got a lot more space than I'm typically used to, I figured I could have a go at putting it in here. Because I still want my brain dump to match the rest of the pages that I have in my monthly setup, I'm just decorating it by putting in a simple border and doing some highlighted lines. This is absolutely not a necessary step, but as I said, I just want to make sure it's going to match the rest of the pages that I have for this month. Once the decoration's in though, it's time to actually populate the brain dump. This is very much just an initial brain dump. It doesn't have to be super thorough. I'm going to be populating it with more tasks as we go through other stages of the reset. So what can be helpful for this is setting yourself a timer so you don't end up spending way too much time just doing the initial brain dump. I typically like to do mine for about 5 minutes. That's usually enough time to get anything that's floating around in my head onto the paper. As I said, we are going to be adding more to this, so it's okay if it's not complete. Now as the initial brain dump is done, it's time to go back into my previous weekly and check in with any open tasks, or tasks that haven't been fully checked off yet. Here what I'm looking for is either to check off any of the ones that are actually complete, or transfer any of the ones that are open and aren't going to get done today to that brain dump that I've been making. You may ask, what is the point of transferring the tasks from the page prior to the page we're currently working on? This is really just so that I can see all of my tasks together in the one space. It means that when we come to later tasks in the reset, I don't have to flip back and forth throughout my journal to find all of my open tasks. Now we're heading into what I consider the middle of my reset. So this includes inbox 0, this includes checking in with my calendars, checking off my plans with other people, and checking in with my yearly collections journal. While I'm going through my inbox, my general goals are to delete anything that is no longer relevant, file anything that I need to save for later in an appropriate folder, and pull out any events or tasks that I can add to my brain dump. While I'm pretty good at emptying my work inbox as the week progresses, when it comes to my personal inbox, things just accumulate so quickly. So doing this inbox 0 and pulling out any tasks and events is always a really good part of my reset. When it comes to the checking in with my calendar step of the reset, what I'm trying to achieve here is checking off any events that I've attended, or ones that I haven't attended or cancelled, and using the appropriate signifier for those. I'm looking back at previous events to see if they jog my memory for any other tasks that I can add to that brain dump, and I'm also looking ahead to any future events and considering what I might have to do for those. In this step, I'm not only checking in with my monthly log, I'm also checking in with my term schedule, my future log, my Outlook calendar, effectively anywhere that I schedule events. Following this, I then check in with my yearly collections journal, in part so that I can fill in any of the trackers that I might have been neglecting, and then also again so we can add more tasks and events to that brain dump. While the start and middle of the reset are very much about kind of generating task ideas and pulling them all into one place so they're a bit more organized, we're now up to what I consider the end of the reset, and that's organizing the tasks, putting them in the places they need to go, and effectively just populating all of the places that I need to put those tasks in. For instance, weekly setups, calendars, yada yada yada. Along with my weekly log and monthly log, there are some key other places in my journals that I populate in this step. One in particular is my wish list in my long-term collections journal, but I also make sure to check in with my future log, my someday maybe list, and any other themed lists that I have, whether they be in the long-term collections journal, my everyday journal, or my yearly collections journal. Once I transfer everything that I collected on that brain dump into their relevant places, then it's time for me to do a small enjoyable activity because I very much treat this like a self-care experience. But before that, we have a very pressing matter. As you can see throughout the process, my desk kind of becomes a mess again, so we're gonna need to retidy this up. Still got my light and my camera clamp set up because I'm going to be doing some filming after this, and that green journal's chilling out because I'm going to give it to my mum. Honestly, doing this process each week just helps me to feel so much better about the week ahead, like I actually know what's going on and what needs to get done. And although the process takes a little bit of time, anytime I don't do it, I seriously just feel like a scatterbrained mess. As mentioned though team, I'm going to go and do my small enjoyable activity, which for today is going to be watching a YouTube video. If you guys wanted to watch some more about weekly resets or monthly resets, I do have a playlist here which could be really helpful. But otherwise, thanks for watching and until next time, bye!